Hi, this is Philip of Dr. Werner Partner with the ultimate comparison of 5 points between an STO and an ICO, both done in Malta. I'm speaking this year, South by Southwest in Texas 2019, and these are the 5 hot topics that everyone's talking about, and I'm here to meet all the crypto people around the world. One of the most talked about topics this year in South by Southwest in Texas was regulation, ICO regulation versus STO regulation. In Malta, we pretty much invented ICO regulation, meaning they put up their own framework to regulate the whole sphere. One of them is the Virtual Financial Assets Act, which is pretty much a framework for the issuance of new token. Compare this with the regulation for STOs. A lot of people out there think there is no current regulation or it doesn't exist. It does exist in the European Union. It's called MiFID II. There's one in the US as well. Whenever you want to sell, distribute or promote securities, you have to be regulated, including tokenized securities. So be careful if you're dealing with a security. There is a framework, you have to get regulated, and it's not as easy as doing a normal ICO. Promotional cross-border trading, that's a very important topic. I've been asked many times. With the Maltese regulation, with the Maltese ICO, from a Maltese perspective, you can trade and promote wherever you want, outside and inside of Malta. However, you have to be careful. Not all the countries might accept it, might accept regulation, even so it's very strict. I would say, at least within the European Union and in a normal country, they will give you the benefit of the doubt that this Maltese regulation is so strong that you're a step ahead, but it's not guaranteed. In contrast, security tokens or tokenized securities is a complete different story, because you have to be careful that there's actual laws preventing you from promoting this if you're not regulated. Let's assume the token issuing company is a MiFID II regulated MTF here in Malta, a broker-dealer. If that company is issuing the token and selling it, you can fairly say it can sell it and distribute it in the whole European Union. But you have to be very careful not to just go and sell it or promote it or solicit in the USA, or for sure not in Japan or South Korea. So be careful about that. There's a big difference between a utility token and a security token or a tokenized security. So basically everything which is not a security token can be sold, bought and exchanged on one of those normal exchanges like Binance, for example, and all of the other exchanges that Malta is going to license now. Contrast that with the listing and exchanging of security tokens or tokenized securities. That's a complete different story. None of those normal exchanges, even the ones that Malta is now licensing, can actually provide exchange services for that type of securities or tokenized securities. You can only exchange those on actual MiFID II licensed brokers or a similar licensed entity in, for example, the USA. Specialties about the Maltese ICO. I picked the Board of Administration, which is like an extra layer of control and diligence going into the whole thing, because you need people like custodian, you need people like a money laundering reporting officer, a systems auditor, a normal auditor. So you see, you need to appoint a lot of professionals that help you to make the whole thing very safe. Specialty in STO has to be liquidity. Sorry folks, I cannot put it differently. Your STO has to be liquid. First of all, you want to keep your marketplace and the listing very liquid because you want to keep a certain market depth. And secondly, more important, if you want to attract or if you target retail investors, they have to be able to liquidate their token in a very short amount of time. So the liquidity of the whole thing is very important. Otherwise, you get into trouble with the regulator. In Malta, there's a 5,000 euro cap per retail investors per 12 months that you can only collect from this type of group of clients. Meaning you have to be careful. If you want to collect more from a client, you have to make sure that he's an experienced or qualified investor in order to receive more money from him. So this is where you have to be really careful about. Compare this to an STO. This is a lot more complicated because there's a lot more rules going into the difference between retail and non-retail. For example, For retail clients, you have to be careful what you market them, how long you want to lock them, if you can lock them, how fast they can liquidate the investment, what type of investors you're targeting, how you're educating them. So there's a lot more attention to detail, whereas to non-retail, to professionals, it's generally a lot easier to market the STO tool.